Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 3 in the best of 7 Machinima Realm Invitational Finals. Game 3 between EG Idra versus Root QXC here on Lost Temple. Currently, Root QXC or Team Root is down 2-0 in this best of 7 series. So QXC really needs to win this game, otherwise they will be trying to claw back in from a 3-0 deficit, which is very, very difficult. Idra over here spawning as the green Zerg at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Root QXC spawning at the 6 o'clock position as the purple Terran. Now, these spawning locations, I would say, is a little bit better for Idra, even though it is relatively close and he will be able to harass with an SCV and trying to stop a hatchery from being placed down here. And the reason why I say this is because normally Terran players really like Lost Temple as a macro style of map. Macro style of maps allow Terran players to really just bunker down, get some planetary fortresses, get a lot of siege tanks, get a lot of missile turrets, and try to win a war of attrition. Normally, if the Terran player is able to split the map between this side versus this side, the Terran player normally wins. But because of the locations here, we see Idra at the 3 o'clock position and QXC sitting at the 6, it is much more difficult to try to split the map from this side against this side, so the gameplay will be a little bit different. We now see an SCV coming up the ramp already and now heading straight into Idra's base, trying to take a look, and it looks as though, yes, a hatchery may be placed down, and I believe that one drone has more than enough lead, and that SCV will not be able to get there in time to try to cancel it. So Idra already getting that expansion up and running. Taking a look at QXC, QXC did not opt to go for a mass marine rush, going for that earlier refinery now, so he is not going to be going mass marines with SCVs to try to put pressure. That is considered a pretty cheese tactic, but it is a pretty effective tactic, especially here on Lost Temple when it is relative close spawns just like this. SCV still wandering around on the inside. We can see the spawning pool currently being built in the back of this base as well, an extractor also going down as well. So Idra opting to not forego his tech and will be able to try to get that metabolic boost out as well. Back over here, we now see a drone making its way out, and QXC is pretty well fortified on this front door. I believe there shouldn't be any room in between that location. It might have actually been, no, there's actually room there, so he's going to be forced to try to put down a supply depot. Otherwise, this one drone may be able to get inside the base. Oh, able to get inside the base just as a Marine comes out. So that Marine popping out at just the right moment there, able to put pressure, and now you can see a barracks being placed down, and now a factory coming into play. An early pressure coming online now with an SCV. SCV may try to get a drone. No, not going to try to set up a bunker. And it looks as though because the drones were already transferred over, the Marines decided not to put any serious pressure at all. There were 2 SCVs looking like they wanted to get a bunker down, but it didn't look like it would be able to go down in time as an SCV now tries to run up that ramp. Zergling's already giving chase to SCV. As soon as it steps onto that creep, its minutes are numbered. And it looks as though that SCV is going to get taken down. One Zergling, oh, very nice by Idra, trying to use the creep over here in order to get a faster movement speed, cutting off that inside track, but it didn't matter as QXC's SCV just got stuck over on that side anyways. We can see that there is currently a factory being built here, and now a supply depot being built in a strange location in the position where normally would have a tech lab or a factory. So that is kind of an odd positioning there. Marines now on the move. 4 Marines against 4 Zerglings. The Marines would obviously win, as the sheer number of Marines are able to take down many of those Zerglings before they are able to get into combat range. One Overlord now suiciding its way into the base, and the Marines, I do not believe, they do not see it just quite yet, and now we see an armory coming in. So it looks like we may have a Thor ship coming online, and I believe Idra was able to see the armory, and was he able to see the starport? Yes, he was able to see the starport and the armory, and that should pretty much reveal what exactly Idra needs to do in order to defend this. Perhaps some spine crawlers here. There is already an Overlord in the air, gaining sight onto that high ground. Marines now perhaps going to try to rush in, but now with one spine crawler on that front door, those Hellions and Marines would simply just get chewed up by that spine crawler, and also a couple of Zerglings as well. Production-wise, we now see a Viking currently being trained. So an early Viking into a Thor, I believe. So one Viking going to be used in order to try to hunt down many of those Overlords. Many Zerg players like to leave Overlords off in this position here, making sure to see if there is any what any overlords in order to do for scouting. QXC now looking for that scouting overlord, suspecting that Idra needed to scout already, but hasn't quite seen or quite known that the overlord has already come and gone. This overlord spotting that armory earlier. You can see the Thor now being trained, the medevac now being trained, and now one Viking in the air getting a lot of damage onto that overlord. That overlord will get shot down with relative ease. That overlord already down to 48 hit points, 34. One more round of Lancer torpedoes and down it goes. We can see that there currently is this queen here. So that queen now trying to get into position, and now this one Viking may be able to get even more damage onto this overlord once again. But two spine crawlers up on this ledge here. So QXC trying to use this, trying to get some mileage out of this Thor, but I do not believe it will go very far at all. There seems to be a decent amount of defense already, and now two overlords coming in. One Thor now trying to fight back against multiple units here. There is one queen. The queen needs to get shot down. The spine crawler, however, already getting shot down there, and the queen taking some damage now. We can now see the SCVs already making their way over. The spine crawler not able to see up onto that high ground. Medevac now dropping in some of those SCVs, and SCVs now getting even more repairing love onto that here. One Viking very, very low on hit points being forced to pull back. That one Viking is now down to 18 hit points, and now the queen almost shot down once again. More overlords are going to get taken down here, and this is going to be a problem. But we now see 6 Mutalisks currently being trained. One Thor and one Viking may not be able to handle the sheer number of Mutalisks that are being trained up in just a second. Now we can see the SCVs perhaps getting back over here. Are we going to get enough damage onto this one hatchery in just a second? We now see what the Mutalisks now trying to come in. They are magic boxing. SCVs are not on auto. They are on auto repair. Generally try to come in and try to repair it. Getting a lot of damage in. One Viking now finishing off many of those Mutalisks. This SCVs are getting picked apart by those queens. And now this Viking in a little bit of trouble trying to pull back even further. This one Thor and that medevac now trying to repair those two SCVs on the ground, and now calling in mules as well. So a long distance mule in order to try to repair this Thor. The Thor already has 10 kills, getting a lot of mileage out of that. But that one mule is not a biological unit. The medevac unable to heal it, and I think if that medevac was just a little bit closer, that Thor would have been able to deal with the sheer number of Mutalisks. But now we can see that QXC's pressure will be forced to lighten it just a little bit. We can now see, oh, two Thors quickly taking down one Mutalisk there. That Mutalisk was not full on life at all, taking just 2 shots from a Thor, or 1 shot from each of those Thors in order to get shot down. Back here, we currently have a couple Marines. The missile engineering bay is down. SCV is trying to repair this one Hellion over here. And now QXC realizes that he needs to establish his expansion. Mutalisks now coming in from the north side of the map. There is 2 missile turrets in play. And now the missile turret able to put a little bit of pressure back onto those Mutalisks. Mutalisks now going after the armory instead. Thor is now making their way over. The very, very, very slow moving Thor, moving at almost half the speed of those Mutalisks. Mutalisks now able to once again back off, I believe, yeah, almost, probably exactly half the speed. Hellion now on the way out, trying to do some scouting as well. Baneling's nest now coming into play, so we're going to have Zerglings and Banelings. There are Marines down here, SCVs and Marines now trying to make their way off, trying to do another drop, and oh, this is going to be bad here. Mutalisk catching this in transition, losing a Thor ship. That was absolutely horrible. Another medevac shot down there. And that loss was just absolutely critical. Idra coming in with the pressure at just the right time, dealing 400 minerals lost, 300 gas loss in that one Thor ship, and that is going to be very, very difficult for QXC to try to do a decent counter attack now. So Idra lucking out a little bit there. We now have Banelings perhaps going to try to walk in here. I do see a siege tank, but no siege tech just quite yet. And now Banelings, siege tanks, Marines, Thors trying to fight back against a very, very large attack here. There are a couple missile turrets in play, but the Zerglings are going to be able to simply run through here, killing off many of those Marines. And wow, just a group of Mutalisks at the right place at the right time may have been the death of QXC. And yes, it was. QXC forced to say GG after losing 2 medevacs, 4 Marines, and 1 Thor to a group of 7 Mutalisks, and that is just very, very heartbreaking for QXC. QXC probably wanted this game to go longer. QXC was in a decent position. His Harvester count wasn't that far behind. Idra was only running off of 2 bases. He did not have an additional base on top of compared to QXC base count, so that really that one loss, that one very, very early loss, is really what did QXC in. I've heard Dustin Browder and David Kim say that the benefit of the Mutalisk is that he gets to be wherever he wants to be on the map, and that was just shown in that medevac double kill with that Thor and a couple of those Marines and SCVs. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed Game 3 in this best of 3 series between Root and EG. EG now with a sizable lead, 3-0 against Root. We'll see if Root will be able to pull off a hat trick +1 in order to get back and win this series, or will EG be able to put the final nail in the coffin? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and Game 3 from the Machinima Realm Invitational Finals.